when I married her, she was a wife, you know, and then all of a sudden she just turned into a witch on me.
Basically,
what is that in your
You
hand?
might want to tell her to put that up.
this is a
Don't let her
wand.
point it at you.
It's a wand.
Yeah.
And what do you do with it?
Some wands can direct energy.
Don't point over there.
Dawn ran away from home to be with Rudolph, had their first baby, then married him while he was awaiting prison. The couple endured his incarceration, had a second child, and been married for 23 years. But now, after a 10-year separation, Dawn and Rudolph finally have decided to set themselves free.
You know, it was like, guess who's coming to dinner but the opposite sex.
Right, I got you.
Rudy could be caring and warm, but he was also caring and warm with other people.
What was it about him? I mean, he was going to prison. Why'd you marry him? What was it about him?
23 years of marriage go up in smoke.
Somebody standing over you and you sleeping, they doing this while you sleeping, smoke, you know, smoke.
Today on Divorce Court.
Come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lynn Toller presiding.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today with Don Marlowe and Rudolph Rockamore. The two of you have been married for 23 years, but you've been separated for over a decade, and I'm sure you're going to explain all that to me. And I'm interested to know why now you want a divorce. But before we get to all that and the economic situation, I'm going to start with you, Ms. Marlowe. Tell me a little bit about your marriage and how we ended up right here today.
Your Honor, I married Rudy while he was in custody, awaiting sentencing. He was wearing his orange jumpsuit and he had his shackles on. And
what about that is so alluring to women? I have met more, you see it a lot, women marrying guys who are incarcerated or about to become incarcerated. What about that says to you, husband?
well,
She was attracted to the color.
well, honestly, I loved him. And
Did you know him?
Yeah, we had been dating for a pretty long time, a couple years probably. I had just had a baby. And I felt like it was a good idea that the baby get to know his father.
Right.
And the only way that that was going to happen in this particular situation was if we had conjugal visits. So we got married.
To me, that's making a baby time. I mean, can't a prisoner visit their wife and kid? You just wanted to make sure that they were visiting.
Yes, and not just that, but we had visited while he was incarcerated or whatever, and the visits while you're incarcerated are, you know, they're pretty monitored.
Right.
And they're across the table, and there's not,
No touching allowed, just
none
in
of that.
designated areas, yeah.
And also the contact I felt would be more for my son. It would be a longer visit. There was numerous reasons besides just the sex aspect of having those visits.
So they would allow you to come as a family?
Yeah.
And spend time together. Okay.
Yes.
All right. How you doing, Mr. Rockamore?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay.
That's good.
So your woman hung with you while you were incarcerated, right?
Yeah.
She stayed. And when you got out, how was it?
It was okay. When I got out, I came home and she started, it was stuff that wasn't the same, you know, stuff out of the ordinary that she was getting into.
What out of the ordinary stuff was she getting into?
Well, when I married her, she was a wife, you know, and then all of a sudden she just turned into a witch on me. And
A witch?
I mean a real witch, one that...
A Wiccan practicing...
The real thing.
The
only thing she was missing was a broom.
Did you turn to the dark side while he was up the
He's the dark side.
Okay. That's pretty good. No, it's funny. No, I'm right with you. It's funny.
All right.
But
Why
actually,
did you let me before we get into practicing witchcraft?
Yes.
let me talk about the initial attraction.
Uh-huh.
What was it about him? I mean, he was going to prison. Why'd you marry him? What was it about him? Because he seems to be, you'd have to be an extraordinary person to get a woman to marry you while you were getting ready to go to prison.
Well, I guess one of the things that kind of was going through my mind, or in retrospect, maybe after the fact, was I wanted to be with Rudy because I felt he was going to be nothing like my dad. He was black. He wasn't going to be anything like him.
And I wasn't nothing like your
Let me
dad.
ask you this, Miss Marlowe. What did you not like about your father?
My real father, now I've had a couple of stepfathers, so I'm talking about my real daddy.
Okay.
He was a hard person to get along with.
Uh-huh.
And what I had seen in Rudy was, you know, he was a pretty funny guy. And he appeared to be, you know,
More open and warm
Yeah,
and demonstrative and caring.
Yeah.
Did you find that to be the case once he got out? Did he fulfill all of your expectations of a warm, more caring husband?
Rudy could be caring and warm, but he was also caring and warm with other people. So that's
So
the part.
you say once he got out of prison, he was a philanderer. He's running around on you.
I don't think he was doing that right away, but I think at different points in our relationship that that was happening. In the beginning of our relationship, it had been rumored by people that Rudy had got another woman pregnant. This was unsubstantiated. It never was proven, but it was a sore spot in our relationship, like forever.
When divorce court continues, after 23 years, will Dawn finally get the truth?
Were you fooling around on her or weren't you? Are you considering getting married but aren't quite sure your intended is the right one for you? I'll give you my opinion. Call toll free at 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com or become a fan at facebook.com/divorcecourt.
Divorce Court returns with the case of Rudolph Rockamore, who says he is uncomfortable with his wife's chosen religion. But does Dawn's faith break up a happy family?
She was doing witchcraft and she disappeared with my kids.
What was going wrong from your point of view?
From the beginning, when I first met Dawn, I had never brought a white woman to the house, you know, and my family was disagreeing with that.
Right.
They wasn't in agreeing, and her family was the same. We was having problems.
Everybody was mad.
Yeah, and I mean, my family would be calling me, they would get on me, you know, like, you a white girl lover, and, you know, it was like, guess who's coming to dinner but the opposite sex.
Right, I got you. I got you.
And,
40 years later, still fighting that battle.
Yeah.
I get you.
So
So your families weren't supportive?
they wasn't supportive at all.
Within the house, though, when it was just you and her, how was it?
Everything was okay until, you know, she started, it was trust issues, which she didn't.
Who didn't trust whom?
Well, at one point I didn't trust her, but she didn't trust me a lot. So.
Was there any reason for you not to trust her?
Well, I'd be sitting in the house and then she'll come walking through there with some twigs and stuff twisted together and, you know, just fanning around the house, just smoky twigs around the house. And so I'm like, wait a minute, what's this? So I get to opening all the windows and she just want to sit up in a smoke-filled house. You know, somebody see that smoke coming out the windows, they're going to call the fire department, wet everybody up in there.
Miss Marlowe, did you have sticks in the house and making smoke room to room?
Yeah, I had sage.
Sage.
Yeah.
And this is part of your practice of the Wiccan practice.
It's part of many practices. It's
Yeah.
called smudging. And basically, if you light this sage and you do it around a person or you do it around your home, it's said to alleviate negativity.
But I didn't need that.
There was no negativity until she lit the sage, right?
Need that, yeah.
Mr. Rockmore, did she in turn have any reason to distrust you?
Well, yeah, I was asleep, and she went through my pockets and stuff, and, You know, the next morning I wake up, she got these phone numbers and this ginseng, and what are you doing with this? And ginseng is good for the body, but I thought I think she thought it was something, you know, to keep you going.
Were you fooling around on her or weren't you?
I wasn't fooling around. The phone numbers that she found, you know, I got the numbers from girls, and I was just storing them up, just testing them, you know, seeing if I still had it. I'm just testing my game because I felt like I was getting old, and I said, let me see if I still got it.
Still got some game, so I can see how many numbers I collect.
Yeah.
And make sure I got game.
Yeah.
That's a weak one.
That's the truth, though.
That's pretty weak.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Mrs. Marlowe, I take it you caught him with these telephone numbers, correct?
Yeah.
What was his explanation indeed that he was testing the quantity of remaining game?
That was not the answer.
What was his answer to you?
Basically, he didn't want to answer. He kept telling me, what are you doing going through my stuff? What are you doing going through my stuff? So there never was any answer, nor was there like, you know, I was testing it or anything. It was just, I'm doing wrong because I'm going through his stuff.
That's because if you look for things, you find them.
I'm still not quite sure what went wrong. At some point, however,
Witchcraft is what went wrong.
you think that is the core of your problem, is her chosen religion?
She was doing witchcraft and she disappeared with my kids.
When divorce court continues, here we go again.
So around that time, Rudy ended up being incarcerated again.
Would you marry someone who was getting ready to go to prison? Call 1-800-282-1991 to vote now and see if America agrees with your opinion. You'll also receive some valuable offers. Call 1-800-282-1991 now.
If you would like your case heard on Divorce Court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com and follow us on Twitter @Divorce Court. Divorce Court returns with the case of Dawn Marlowe, who resents her husband Rudolph for going to jail and leaving her with all of the bills. But Rudolph has a solution for Dawn's money woes.
If you're doing magic, she should have been able to do some magic on them bills or whatever.
When did she disappear with your kids?
Later on in the relationship, we went to the airport when they were supposed to spend the summer in Hawaii. That's what I'm thinking they're going to do, spend the summer. You know, it's time for summer, it's over, it's time for school to start. I'm waiting on kids to come back, and I'm like, whoa. So I get on the phone, I call, and all of a sudden I find out they staying down there. So
Did you go to Hawaii ostensibly for a vacation and just end up staying?
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
No, that's, from my point of view, that is not what happened.
You tell me what you think happened.
Well, so around that time, Rudy ended up being incarcerated again. And I got sick with Lyme's disease.
Uh-huh.
My parents lived in Hawaii.
Right?
My mom had been bugging me and on my butt about getting, moving there because they would help and take care of me and the children, and it would be good to have the family support. So basically, I didn't ask his permission. The kids went to go visit first, and I followed afterwards.
And stayed?
And I took him and didn't ask his permission.
Was he in prison at the time?
No, he was not.
He had gotten back out?
Yes, he had. I just couldn't take it anymore.
What couldn't you take anymore?
All of it. The trust, I felt like I had to carry his part.
In what was financially?
Well, and with the kids. I mean, if you're locked up, you can't really take care of
She can't
much.
say financially, because if you're doing magic, she should have been able to do some magic on them bills or whatever.
Basically,
Now, what is that in your hand?
You might want to tell her to put that up.
What is that in your hand?
That's part of it. You might want to tell her to put that away. If she pointed at you.
I just want to know what it
Don't let
is.
her point it at you.
This is a
Don't let her
wand.
point it at you.
It's a wand.
Yeah.
And what do you do with it?
Well, some wands can direct energy.
Don't point over.
Yeah.
Point over there.
Don't point it this way either.
I don't know nothing about it. I just don't want to get involved.
I'm not going to I would never cast a spell on you.
Oh, thank you.
But I might
appreciate that.
cast one on you.
Look.
And I might cast one on some of you, too.
Oh, well, now, wait a minute. You can't threaten my gallery now.
Hey,
hang
karma.
on. Hang on. I gotta look out for my people. Now, Miss Marlowe, let me ask. I can't. You're mad at him. It's mad enough to leave him, but you can't tell me why.
I could not tolerate our relationship anymore.
But what was going on that you didn't like?
The dishonesty, the not being able to count on something.
When divorce court continues, has Dawn cast a spell on Rudolph?
Somebody standing over you and you sleeping, they doing this while you sleeping. So I rolls over real fast. I'm trying to get out the bed.
Would you marry someone who was getting ready to go to prison? Call 1-800-282-1991 to vote now and see if America agrees with your opinion. You'll also receive some valuable offers. Call 1-800-282-1991 now.
Divorce court returns with the case of Dawn Marlowe and Rudolph Rockamore, who after 23 years of marriage say the love potion has outlived its shelf life and they want out.
You went to Hawaii. You've been separated for how long? About 10 years?
Yes.
Why are you here today? Why now?
Really, I came here and I hoped for closure. You know, I would love an apology.
For what?
That's what I like
For-
to know. For what? Somebody standing over you and you sleeping, they doing this while you sleeping. I'm in the bed, so the only thing I'm looking up in one eye, the closest thing I'm looking to bed is an exit right here, so I rolls over real fast. I'm trying to get out the bed. And you want an
Mrs.
apology
Marlowe,
for this?
did he
Come on
wake
now.
up to you doing this to him?
No.
Yeah, she had
No.
that thing, and I was half asleep. I could have sworn I seen it glowing.
You got him so spooked, Miss Marlowe, you don't know what to do. I'm not quite altogether sure what you want Mr. Rockamore to do over here. I really don't, and I'm not sure what he did wrong. I mean, going to jail, I think, is rude. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to do something criminal, and as a function thereof, I'm going to have to withdraw all my love, support, economic, financial, emotional, physical. You get deprived of all of me because I couldn't obey the rules. I mean, I think that's just so rude to the spouse to whom you do that. You know?
Well, there was times that, I mean, things was kind of, short, so I went and took penitentiary chances.
And you can't do that, though, because no matter how much money you were going to get when things were short, I mean, if you did it
Just
an
enough to
hourly
keep us
wage out of the
afloat.
years you spent from getting caught doing it, you'd be making less than minimum wage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't make criminal choices because at the end they always win that bet. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But she should
So why don't you
apologize
tell
to
me about, now listen here, I've been here all this time trying to figure out what's going on, and now you just want $125?
For what? What is that for? What is that for?
Joe and I would have chipped in, giving you the 125 and run. We'd have taken up a collection.
What is the $125 for?
I don't know. Let's find out, Mr. Rockamore. Ms. Marlowe, why do you want $125 from this man?
I would like to have the money for the wand that he broke when he stole all the stuff he stole out of my car. I would like to have the money to replace that.
When did he steal
She don't
stuff
need
out of your
that
car?
stuff.
In our relationship prior to the second time going
Give
to
me
jail.
a
date,
year.
1996.
Holy moly.
Look, she won $125 for a broken wand, and you can get some super glue for 99 cents.
Yes.
I mean, if it's that serious, glue it back together. I even chip in some more rocks to put on there.
Look. I don't know how you people got in here. Let me tell you what. Something happened in 1996. You
Yeah.
can't come to court for now. That statute of limitations, doctrine of lapses, and just plain old, it don't make no sense, applies, and you can't get it back. I will say this. If you're looking for closure, go out there in the back after I'm gone and close it up, because I got to go. This matter is adjourned.
All rise. Parties may leave the courtroom.
Since leaving divorce court, Rudolph and Dawn are moving ahead with their divorce, living separate lives, and communicating only for the sake of their adult children.